Okay, let's get right into it. Have you ever wondered what the real difference is between just dreaming about a goal and actually hitting it? It's not just about luck, and it's definitely not just about motivation. The real secret? It's self-discipline. And right now, we're going to build a practical toolkit to help you master it. I mean, come on, we've all been there, right? You get this amazing idea for a goal. You're going to learn Spanish, get in shape, finally finish that big project. You're super excited. But then, well, life happens. That initial spark fades, and you hear yourself saying those classic words, I'll start tomorrow. It's the classic sign that our motivation tank is running on empty. And that is exactly where self-discipline takes over. See, you can think of motivation like a flash of lightning. It's super powerful, but it's gone in an instant. Discipline, on the other hand, that's the engine. It's the system that keeps you going, especially on the days you really don't feel like it. It's what turns a great idea into an everyday reality. So if it's so important, how in the world do we build this skill that feels, let's be honest, almost superhuman sometimes? Well, the good news is it's not about gritting your teeth and using sheer willpower. It's actually about building a smarter system for success. So let's crack open this toolkit and grab our first tool. Okay, first things first, we're starting with the absolute foundation. Forget about making some giant heroic leap. The real secret to making change stick is in taking tiny, ridiculously consistent steps, and then creating processes that make those steps pretty much automatic. This is where the magic happens. Just think about New Year's resolutions for a second. Why do so many of them crash and burn by February? It's because we aim way too high, way too fast. We try to go from 0 to 100, like working out an hour every single day. The real key is to flip that script completely. Start with a habit that is so small, so easy, it feels almost silly not to do it. Seriously, 5 minutes, that's it. You want to learn an instrument? Just practice for 5 minutes a day. You want to start meditating? 5 minutes. It sounds like nothing, right? But here's the thing. You're not just building a skill in those 5 minutes. You're building the much more important habit of consistency. And believe me, that consistency is what adds up to massive results down the road. And this brings us to a really crucial mindset shift. A goal, like, I want to lose 30 pounds, feels so far away. And if you don't see the scale moving right away, it's super easy to just give up. But a system, something like, I will exercise for 10 minutes every morning, well, that's something you can control today. You get to feel successful every single day you follow your system, and that feeling is what keeps you in the game long enough to actually reach the goal. All right, so you've started small, you're focusing on your daily system, awesome. But how do you keep going when it still feels like a total chore? In this next part, we're going to dive into a little bit of brain hacking to make your new habits feel less like work and way more like a reward. This is a brilliant little trick called habit bundling. It's so simple. You just pair something you need to do with something you really want to do. The rule is simple. You only get the reward after you do the task. So after you practice English for 15 minutes, you get to watch an episode of your favorite show. All of a sudden, that habit you were avoiding becomes the ticket to something you love. And listen, this isn't just a clever life hack. This is straight up neuroscience. When your brain gets that reward right after the habit, it releases a little bit of dopamine. It starts to connect the habit itself with that good feeling. Over time, you're literally rewiring your brain to enjoy being disciplined. How cool is that? Look, your willpower is not an infinite resource, so why waste it all day fighting against your own environment? Instead, you can design your space to do the heavy lifting for you. If you want to work out in the morning, lay your gym clothes right by your bed. It makes it the easiest possible choice. Want to stop mindlessly snacking? Move the snacks out of sight, maybe to a high shelf in another room. It's all about making the right choices the path of least resistance. Now, speaking of willpower, let's talk about how to manage it. You know, most of us think discipline means having this bottomless well of mental strength. But the truth is, it's a lot more like your phone's battery. It starts the day at 100% and just drains with everything you do. Think about your own day, right? You wake up, you're fully charged. But every decision you make, what to wear, what to say in an email, resisting that donut, it all drains that battery, bit by bit. By the evening, you're running on fumes. And that's exactly why it's so much harder to skip dessert or go to the gym after a long, hard day. So here's the absolute game changer. Do your hardest, most important tasks when your willpower battery is at its fullest. For most of us, that's in the morning. Schedule your workout, that deep focus work session, your language practice, whatever it is, for when you're fresh. Then you can save the easy, low-effort stuff for later in the day when you're running low. And here's another pro tip for protecting that mental energy. Automate the small stuff. I mean, there's a reason you see famous entrepreneurs wearing the same outfit every day. By creating routines for things like what you eat for breakfast or what you wear, you just eliminate those small decisions. And that saves all your precious willpower for the things that actually move the needle. Okay, finally, let's talk about the secret weapon for self-discipline, especially on those days where you have zero energy left. Other people. You do not have to do this all alone. In fact, you'll be way more successful if you don't. Having someone, anyone, to hold you accountable can make a massive difference. This could be a workout buddy who's waiting for you at the gym, a study group for a class you're taking, or even just a friend you text every day to say, hey, I did my thing. This social contract adds a really powerful layer of motivation. Because let's be real, it's one thing to let yourself down. It's another thing entirely to let down a friend who's counting on you. That accountability is like a gentle push when you need it most. It just makes it so much harder to hit snooze or skip that practice session. Wow. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. We've gone from tiny habits all the way to managing your energy. We've basically built a complete discipline toolkit. So now, let's lay all those tools out on the table and figure out your very first step. And here it is, the whole shebang. Start small. Focus on the process. Make it rewarding. Set up your space for success. Work with your body's natural energy. Automate the easy stuff. And get a friend on board. See how each of these tools just works together to make discipline, well, easier? If there's just one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this. True, lasting self-discipline is not about being tough on yourself or forcing your way through things. It's about being smart. It's about designing a system around yourself where doing the right thing is also the easiest thing. So, let's make this real. Right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. What is one tiny action, something so small you almost can't say no to it, that you're going to start today? That right there is your first step.